Hi, welcome to another Sporting Communities podcast. Sporting Communities are a community interest company. We are an ethical, non-for-profit organisation which services range from sports coaching, youth work, mentors and family support. We are a training academy delivering a range of qualifications, and we also have art and play services. This week, we're again going to be focusing on mental health and the positives that we can take out of lockdown. I'm again joined by Ed and Mim. We're just going to do a brief introduction just to explain what we've been doing during the past week, any changes that have happened during lockdown, and just how we're feeling generally. So starting with you, Ed.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, my name's Ed. I work for Sporting Communities. A bit about me. So I'm passionate about health and fitness. I like going to the gym as much as I can, staying healthy. I like playing all sorts of different sports. So my main two sports, football and badminton. Also like just spend time with family and friends, take my dog out and chill out, watch some films when I can as well. I help deliver some of the Sporting Communities sessions, sports sessions around the Derby area. So that's me.
Fab. And Mim?
Hi, my name's Mim. I'm a supporting communities worker for the supporting strand of Sporting Communities. I help with delivering sessions, go out into communities. I'm passionate about empowering young people within communities. A bit about me. So in my spare time, I'm quite a musical, creative person. I like to spend time with my friends and family. That's about it, really.
Fab. And then just a brief introduction for myself. So as I said before, I'm James. I've worked for Sporting Communities for just over a year now, mainly go out into the community helping on sporting sessions and getting kids involved, really just trying to put smiles on people's faces. Main things really about me, I'm quite a sporty person. My sort of main sport is football, but I do enjoy going running and bits like that as well, just to try and keep fit and healthy. First thing that I wanted to cover this week with you both, I just wanted to say it's a couple of weeks now since Mental Health Awareness Week, and just to see what you guys took from that. Do we think that it was publicised enough, especially on sort of the news and sort of internet sites and everything like that? Do we think that Mental Health Awareness Week really was pushed onto us so that we were thinking about it and thinking about our own and other people's mental health? So starting with you, Ed, do we think it was positive, and what did you take from it?
Yeah, I thought it got publicised quite well actually on the news and things. I think obviously the lockdown and everything that's happening, I thought almost promoted it even more because a lot of people are going through difficult times. There was a few programs on that I mentioned, I think, on the podcast, which was a Royal Team Talk, which was a sport-based one with Prince William and a few Gareth Southgate and a few footballers that talked really well. I definitely recommend watching that if you can. That was on BBC.
Yeah, I saw that. It was really good. I think it's a really good insight, especially because I think a lot of the time we put celebrities on sort of a pedestal and we don't think that they go through what we go through.
Yeah.
So to sort of hear firsthand the issues that they've had, I know through the royalty and everything like that, sort of they spoke about the fact that obviously when their mum had passed away, the difficulties that they'd had. And sort of things that had triggered stuff to bring that back. So when they'd gone through it all and they thought they were past it, to have that constantly reminded of things that had happened in their past, I found that really poignant. I found that quite moving. So yeah, I definitely agree with that, Ed. If you get a chance to watch it, that is a great watch. And it really does give a good insight.
Yeah, I think that was called a Royal Team Talk and it was on BBC. And I think the good thing is that's carrying on. I think they're doing a few different programs on it with different celebrities. I think Frank Lampard's on the next one, but I think it's other sports as well. They're getting other athletes involved. I think it's also just important to remember when you're watching things like that, that, you know, everyone's situation's different. I think it's easy to get caught up in, well, they're a millionaire, so they can't have any problems. And, you know, they do. They're just, maybe their problems are related to different sort of or triggered by different issues where it's not financial, but it's I don't know, they're going through obviously other things and they're in the spotlight quite a lot, so they have different pressures, whereas some people, they might think, well, you know, just because my issue is financially, that they can't have the same issue as me because they're a millionaire. So I think it's important just to remember that everyone has, you know, their individual problems and situations going on. In terms of the question as well, again, so do I think enough was said? Yeah, I think it's again a case of promoting it within communities that's really important. So I think it's all right it being on BBC and then promoting it to an extent, but you know, if someone's watching it and needs help, I think that you've got to do it within smaller communities so they actually know where to contact. Because it's all right, and it's positive knowing that someone out there has similar issues, and you know, it's a big star that may potential role model that they're going through difficult periods in their life. But I think when it comes down to actually receiving help and knowing who to contact, I think that, you know, there's got to be more done within the community itself to let people know about that.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. Mim, what did you take from Mental Health Awareness Week? Did you find it was positive?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the minute, like Ed sort of touched on, everything is heightened. With us being in the middle of a pandemic, I think people are being more considerate of others' mental health. So naturally, it's going to be there's going to be more awareness around it. But I do think there was plenty of things sort of on social media. I noticed that a lot of celebrities and people with sort of high followings were making a point of touching on Mental Health Awareness Week, which I think is really good, using sort of your fame and following for the better. So that was something that I noticed.
Yeah, I just think with it in general, Mental Health Awareness Week, it needs to be something that isn't just a week. I think it's great that it gets heightened for that week, and it's great that celebrities put stories on their Instagrams and their Twitters and all of that. And for 1 week, it spoke about everywhere, and you go on the news and they're talking about the fact that it's Mental Health Awareness Week. But this isn't something that only happens once a year. This happens every single day of every single year. And I think that needs to be the big message that gets really out there to people, is, like you were saying, Ed, that they're supporting communities, and that actually who can you reach out to if you are struggling. And I think for me, that's the one thing that I didn't see enough of from it. And it was almost like, brilliant, let's promote this for this week, and then after that we'll leave people, and I'm sure that they'll know what to do. But do they know what to do? I think that for me is the big take home. And that's why doing things like this and just checking in on people constantly, that's why it's so important, because actually you don't want people to feel like, well, do you know what, I can't wait till next year for a Mental Health Awareness Week, I need to get out there now.
Yeah, I agree. I think just to touch on that program we watched, one thing I took away, you know, probably it all really, was when they related it to mental fitness. As someone that plays sport a lot, and that's always been my passion, I think that for a lot of guys it can be sort of, you know, when someone says mental health, they almost like shy away and they're like, oh no, I don't want to talk about mental health. But I found it when they were talking about it and they referred to it as mental fitness, the wording a lot easier to relate to, and not as I'm not sure what the word is, but the stigma just around it quite a bit easier to talk about. I just find it, when it's referred to as mental fitness, I find it easier to find the comparison between the physical fitness side and something that, you know, it's not a bad thing when you talk about mental fitness. It's not this stigma around, okay, well, you've got mental health issues, you know, you know, that's really bad. Mental fitness, I found the wording similar to physical fitness, easier to talk about, because, you know, everyone's got physical fitness, everyone's got mental fitness. You know, if someone's not got very good mental fitness, it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's something you can work on as well. So fitness, I just find more relatable to talk about. I don't know if you guys found that, or if, you know, the wording alone, I just found it easier to say.
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're saying. I think, like you say, if someone isn't particularly physically active and they haven't got great physical fitness, they can go out there and they can undergo training schemes and everything like that to try and improve their fitness. Likewise with your mental fitness, if you are struggling at that time and your mental fitness isn't where you want it to be, there are things that can be done to prove that. And I think that's a really great way to look at it, actually.
Yeah, I think, yeah, especially with a lot of sports men and women, they it was just something personal that stood out to me, and just the wording alone just made it easier to talk about, you know.
Definitely, I completely see that. I think it's sad that there's a stigma around male mental health, and it's awful. But if it sort of the wording of things make it easier for men to sort of come out and talk about that, then I think it's a really positive thing, and it's a step in the right direction of breaking down that stigma. And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, like people aren't shy about talking about physical fitness. So when are you physically fit, and they're like, oh no, my fitness is terrible. Like they're quite open about it, and you see, especially in lockdown, more and more people are getting into fitness and improving their physical fitness. I just think it's a better way of wording it myself, and I think people have referred to it like that before, but it was, for me, the first time I'd heard it spoke like that, so it just stood out, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Okay, so we have had a question come in from one of our young people who we coach with, who has been feeling a little bit down of late. And I think with some of the changes that have happened with regards to going out to do more exercise and everything like that, the question that's come in is, when will I be able to play team sports like football with my friends? This particular young person is involved in a sports team, plays football every week with their friends, and I think they found it a little bit hard to adjust to the fact that that's no longer happening. So they wanted to know, when are they likely to be able to play football again with their friends? So I don't know if we've got any sort of answers that we can give with regards to that. If either of you would like to start.
I think personally, obviously everyone's struggling at the minute not doing the things that they enjoy doing. I think it's about finding ways around that and being able to follow the guidelines in doing so. So it could be a case of sort of playing like a crossbar challenge with your friends that you can still stay at a distance and stuff like that. So sort of finding your way around it so that you can still get to enjoy doing those things that you enjoy doing while still following the guidelines. So it's about sort of adapting around that.
Tailoring the approach. Yeah, definitely. Ed, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with what Mim just said. I think as well, it's important just to, I think we're slowly seeing an ease of the lockdown, and I think it's really important just to stay disciplined. I know exactly how the young person's feeling. I feel exactly the same, and I can't wait to go back and start playing football again, more than anything. But this is where you've got to stay disciplined, keep it up. We've come this far. It's not for much longer. Keep holding in there, and now we're allowed to go outside and play with meet with one person from a different household, stay in 2 meters apart with the social distancing. So like Mim just mentioned, make the most of that. Make the most of what you can at the stages in which lockdown is. So do that crossbar challenge. I think she mentioned being able to do kick-ups from far away, passing the ball from far, long distance passing, stuff like that. But I would just say, just to hang in there, stay disciplined. We're nearly there, and this is going to be the hardest bit as things start getting kind of eased up more and more. So I couldn't agree more. And just to go back to the original question of when, unfortunately we can't give an answer on that, because we're not the ones who make the guidelines. But as Ed has said, it's really important right now that we still stick to the guidelines. There are things that we can now do. So with regards to the crossbar challenge or kick-up challenge or whatever you want to do with your one friend when you are still socially distancing. And it may be that you go down to the park and you do see people having a kick about and you think, well, why are they allowed? They're not. They aren't sticking to the social distancing like they should be. But we would still encourage everybody to do so, because that is the safest way to be right now. The guidance is there for a reason. So just make sure that we are sticking to it as best we possibly can. Yeah, don't fall into that trap of thinking just because you're seeing someone else do it, it's okay. It's not okay. So like I say, the more you stick to the rules, the sooner everyone else will be able to come out, and then you'll be able to get that game of football that you've been wanting to do. So
yeah, definitely.
And I also think, just touching on that, the fact that we're seeing so many people that aren't sort of following the rules the way that they should, I think it's about sort of sticking to them yourself and setting an example for other people. So rather than sort of going with the crowd and thinking actually they're doing it, so I'm going to do it, set that example for other people.
Yeah, be that positive role model.
Definitely.
So hopefully that's answered that question for you. We have also had a question coming from a parent just with regards to schools reopening, they have asked, should I send my child back to school when they reopen on the 1st of June? Now, I'm assuming that this is a child who is from one of the year groups that are due to go back to school. I know we did touch on this last week while we had Sam on with us, but I just wanted to see if we could give a quick answer to this, guys. Ed, starting with you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, I don't want to speak on behalf of anyone and what they should do. I think Sam mentioned last week that, you know, whatever decision the parents decides to make is the right decision, especially in a time like this when there's so much uncertainty. I would mainly just repeat that and give, you know, whoever's listening and the person who asks the question confidence in making the decision that that's their own, and to be confident in doing that and sticking with that decision and not feeling guilty when you see potentially seeing other kids go back or their friends go back. There's no right or wrong decision in this. It's whatever decision you decide to make. You've got to believe and be confident that that's the right decision, and that's up to you. So that's all I can really say about that, to be honest.
Yeah, and Mim, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to speak on the behalf of other people, but I think you know in your own head and your own situation what is good for you and what's good for the ones around, like your loved ones. So I think it's really important to sort of bear that in mind and understand that everyone's situation is different. And if someone makes that decision and choice, not to penalise that person for doing so, because there's a reason that they're doing that, and things might be difficult for them as it is. There's a reason they've got to send their child back to school or choose not to, whatever it is. So I think it's just bearing in mind that it's not your life to sort of make comment on other people's. And it's, you know, especially with Mental Health Awareness Week, not that long ago, I think it's about sort of supporting the decisions that other people are making and sort of not penalising them for that, because they might be feeling guilty for it as it is. They might have been sort of shot down by people for doing so. So I think it's really, really important not to sort of make that person feel any worse than they might already be feeling, because you don't know what's going on in their personal life to be having to do that. And, you know, it's just about being mindful of those things.
Yeah, definitely. I would also just like to add, for any parent who is looking at sending their child back and they're slightly apprehensive, but they still think it's the right thing to do. We did hear some really good positives from Sam last week, if you didn't hear. Her children have still been going to school the whole time because she's a key worker, and she spoke about the positive experience they've had from their school experience. And although they've not been doing sort of scheduled work, so to speak, all of the time, they have been getting really good experiences from it. And when they've been coming home on an evening, they've been really positive about the experience they've been having. So schools are doing their absolute best to make sure that environments are safe, and providing you believe that your child should be back there and they are in one of the year groups to go back there is nothing wrong with sending your kid back. But likewise, if you don't think it's safe, then don't right now. As the guys have already said, it's really important. It's your own decision. You won't be penalised for it either way. So whatever, as long as you're happy and your child is happy with the decision that you're making, that is the main thing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think just to mention as well how amazing the teachers have been in this period of time, as well as generally. But also, I think it's really important that the schools keep communicating with the parents and letting them know. I know there's a lot of uncertainty about different schools doing different things, potentially opening, some not opening. So I think for the parents to get the right information, I think it's really important that the schools keep communicating with them and giving clear advice. I know that the government personally don't think they've been clear and great in the advice, but I think I'm not 100% sure what's happening with the schools yet. But I think that's a really important point, and would play a key part in a parent making that decision and being confident in making that decision, that the school does communicate well with them.
Yeah, definitely. Fab. So to finish off today, again, we're just going to do a quick tip of the week, and then we're going to do our terrible jokes of the week. So we'll do the tip of the week first. Just started with myself. So my tip for this week is, we've already touched on it, but don't be swayed by what other people are doing. Make your own mind up. Follow the guidelines as best you can, and just try to make sure that we are still staying as safe as possible. The more we stick to the guidelines, the quicker we're going to get out of all of this. So if we all keep pulling together, we'll get out of this much sooner and much safer. So that's my tip. Coming to you, Mim, for yours.
Yeah, so my tip of the week is to be disciplined. So in terms of routine, in terms of sort of the guidance from government, in terms of getting work done, just to be disciplined with yourself in that sense, because it's easy to sort of not do things and then let it get on top of you. So to sort of protect your own mental health and well-being, sort of be disciplined and get things done as you would normally, to make that integration when things are lifted a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good tip, Mim. Thank you. And Ed?
Yeah, so my tip would be to download the Calm app. So it's one of the things that we've recommended to do in the past podcasts. I think it's a really good app. I think Mim just mentioned that you can set yourself bedtimes and it helps with routine, and there's loads of other tips on there. So it's a really good resource to use if you're struggling at all with anxiety, like I say, setting a routine or bits like that. So that my tip would be to download that and have an explore on it, see what different functions it can do for you, and it might help.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great tip. Thank you, Ed. Right, so to finish off, we've got our terrible jokes. I don't know who wants to start us off. I've got one if you want me to start. It's entirely up to you two.
Go for it.
Okay. This one's probably my worst one yet. So we'll see what kind of reaction this gets. What do you call an elephant that doesn't matter?
I don't know.
An irrelevant.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Irrelevant.
Nice.
Yeah, I told you it was bad.
Yeah.
Have either of you two got one ready?
I've got one. I'm sure I can think of one.
Yeah, go on then, Mim.
Okay. So I got robbed by 6 of the Disney dwarfs last week. Not happy.
Oh, nice.
Very good.
Good delivery on that.
Good.
Thank you.
That was good delivery. Nice little pause. Perfect. And Ed?
What does a baby computer call its father?
I don't know.
Data.
Oh, God.
Oh, I've got a computer
Well,
one as well, but I think I'm going to save it for next week.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
do it.
Come on, mine was that bad. I think you've got to compensate for that. Go on, Mim.
You need to save.
Okay.
You need to save Ed.
Yeah, save it.
Okay, right, Ed, this is on your behalf. What do you call a singing computer?
I'm not sure.
Don't know.
Adele.
Uh, no.
No.
Just want to say that next week I'll have a better joke, I promise.
Don't bank on that.
I'll make up for it next week. So,
I'm going to buy a joke book, I think.
Well, on that note, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for listening again, everybody. Just to remind you all that we are still online doing live chats on Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to come on to have a chat to some of our coaches, then feel free to come on during the allotted times. You can have a look on the pages to see who's going to be on when. Come on to have a quick chat about anything and everything, and we will be there to talk to you. If you do have any questions that you can't get to us in time for that, then just drop them into the comments box and we will get back to you as soon as we can. But other than that, thank you very much for listening again, and stay safe and have a great week.
cheers, guys.
See you guys. Stay safe.